Welcome back 12th class. I hope you have understood the previous chapter which I have told you how to draw still life. I have given you an instruction about the object with measurement, and behind I have told you how to draw a curtain. Now we will start from shading. Okay, in your course in still life you have to shade the object and then you have to color it too. So in our first class of still life, after the drawing I will tell you how to shade the object. First, whatever the lines you have drawn and whatever the shape you have finalized, what you have to do is to rub it very carefully, not completely, but it should be little bit clear to you. The lines which are very bold, you have given some I have shown some lines which are too bold just to show you that how to make an object clear and how to erase the measurement after darken the lines. So I'm just rubbing the darkness of lines, but some lines should also visible, so that according to the guidance of these lines you can shade the object. So first we will do this, and after that what you have to do is to take a 2B pencil with that also, or if you have Apsara extra dark pencil you can also use it in place of 2B. Okay, I'm using it because I have already used that pencil to make the object. It is quite similar, quite close, but if you don't have that pencil you can purchase 2B. Okay, with the help of this you can give your shading a first step. So as I told in my previous classes that the concept of shading, so I am just repeating the same thing. Suppose if you are shading, you have to imagine the sunlight, or you have to imagine the light from where the light is coming, and just the opposite side of the light you will start shading. Okay, if you your assumption is that the light is coming in from that way, so here you don't have to do much lines to show shading, but the opposite side you can see that this is the opposite side and this is the front part. As the sunlight or the light is coming towards the object, so you will shade here, and the area will be left without the use of pencil. It will be called as tint, and the area which will be a darker with the use of pencil will be called shade. So I think you have understood the concept of shading. The opposite of shading is tint. Tint should be whiter and shade should be darker. So when we have assumed that the sunlight or the light is coming towards that side, you will definitely do one thing, that the direction of the light will show the tint and the opposite side will be shown as a shade. So here you will, with the help of pencil, you will start shading according to the shape of the object, so that it will create a 3D effect, and similarly you will show a kind of shadow here so that it will be seen natural. Now with the help of cube also I am telling you, making you understand that concept of shading. Suppose the light is coming from here and this is your object. What you have to do is just choose the opposite side for the shading, and this side will be a part of tint. I think you have understood the concept of tint and shading. After that, by following the instructions what I have told you, you will do it in your copies. Whenever you shade any object, I have given you the example of circle and also the example of cube. Okay, so if you will follow this, you can shade on any object. So we have this object right now, and we are assuming that the light is coming towards this side. Now what you have to do is just to darken the line again, but only the line where you are going to use your shade. And the strokes of the shadings will be always depends on the shape of the object. Like here you will show a little bit round shapes, so the strokes will be the same. And here, according to the concept of the ball, you will shade, and you will definitely choose the single side for shading, as if you have assumed that the light is coming from that way. So I'm repeating that here you will, or you should have to use 2B pencil or Apsara extra dark pencil just to darken the lines. And then according to your convenience, what you have to do is to give some strokes, and strokes you should use your pencil for shading like this if the object is bigger, little bit bigger. Okay, for that it will be easy for you to slant your pencil and start shading like this. This is the lower part, this is a one part of this object, the second part is this, and the third part is this. Okay, so first we are doing this. So the bottom part is this. Here you will use long strokes, and as you come to the upper side, the strokes will become shorter like this, and the last strokes should have to cover the whole object or the whole part of this particular object. And the strokes should not be so straight, otherwise it will not show the shape or the curve of this object. So to show the curve of this object, the strokes should be curvy. Darken the other side also with this pencil. And now what you have to do is to shade the next part. This part is just behind the lid, that's why you can use both the strokes from both the sides, and the strokes should be round, but the round shape will be from the opposite side like this. Similarly here also, because this part is just behind the lid, so you will have to show some kind of darkness there. Now just clear the lid with the lines. So you just have to make a bright line to clarify the shape of your lid. But the line should be thin, remember this. Now according to the shape of the lid, you will again, according to your convenience, start shading from here because the light is coming to that direction, like this. I'm repeating. For this you will have to use 2B pencil or otherwise extra dark simple. Just after completing this upper part, you will have to complete the lower part. You will just cover the last part with the pencil and the strokes will start becoming shorter, like this. With this pencil you can use larger strokes to shade. As the number of the pencil will increase, you will have to use them little bit, like this. And remember, if you are using your strokes with the pencil like this, you don't have to maintain a gap there. Gap should not be there. It is the lower part, that means the strokes should be complete, and then it will start reducing. Complete the stroke at once. Don't need to do like this, okay? Otherwise it will look bad and your shade will not become natural. Deduction of the strokes you can see here according to the shape of the object. As you can see, while shading, some strokes will exceed from the object. Later on you can erase it carefully by following the line. You can repeat if you find any gap between the strokes. Now you can see here that it is a white part and here this is repeating. So here your strokes can be larger, okay, like this. Now whatever the strokes which are exceeding from the line of the object, you can erase the extra part of your stroke like this, very carefully. So it's all so visible that on one side you are using shade and on the other side you have left it for tint. Now after this, what you will have to use is pencil number 6B. It is a little bit darker, okay. So here you will repeat the same thing, but the strokes should be darker and should be near to the end of the first stroke. Means it should not exceed the limit of first stroke, it should be just behind it, like this. The roundness of the stroke should not be avoided in any coating. otherwise it will not give you a 3D effect. If the strokes are exceed from the limit of your line of the object, there is no problem, you can erase them later on. Same thing will be followed here also. There is no compulsion that the pencil should be sharp for shading. It should not. Now you'll have to use 12B. What you have to do is with this pencil is just to make outline of the object. Like this. Larger strokes like this to create a round shape according to a jar. And it will end so soon like this. Similarly from here also. It should not be so dark, so you can not give so much force to 12B. Means you cannot use it forcefully so that it will create a dark line like the outline. Just keep your hand very light and shade like this. It should create a check kind of texture. What I am doing is just to create a check type of texture here. I am exceeding the limit of a stroke here at the edge, and towards the center I am just reducing the size of my strokes like this. Here also. Okay. Just darken the last part of the lid like this. earbud, you can use it for merging to create a lighter look. It should not look so harsh. As the object is big or it's easy to use cotton here, you can also use cotton, but for the narrow size shading you should use earbud. You will use a little bit earbud merging to the tint side because the line is almost not visible here. Like this. By using 12B, you will show some lines on base in order to show the effect of shadow. Like this. Now to make it soft, you will use cotton or earbud again. So your object will look like this, and you can use your eraser like this just to show the shining effect at the end. So in this class, I've told you how to shade an object. So first shade it like this, and after that I will teach you how to shade a curtain which is shown behind, and I will give you some examples of curtain that to what extent you can use the curtain or the background of any other object. See you in the next class.